Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me today is the Angie K Sunglass, Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How are you? Happy Monday.
Well, hello. Happy Monday, everybody.
It's a big Monday for us in these parts, in these Crappens parts, because we are about to recap the final installment of the Atlanta reunion. And then later today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, we are going back onto Amazon Live. And we've decided to theme today's Amazon Live self-care. So Ronnie's going to talk about skincare stuff. I'm going to recommend some healthy cookbooks, and we're going to have a really fun time. So join us. We are like two little kids on there. We have so much fun. So join us on Amazon Live at 4 o'clock. And then after that, the liveness continues because we have Crappy Hour at 5:30, and you can catch that on our YouTube channel, and it's simulcast also onto our Instagram. And we have a special guest on tonight's Crappy Hour. We have Misha from The Big Flop. So did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, you know when you say a word and you're like, did I say that correctly? Did I say the syllables correctly?
Yes, because it's like every other word for me.
But anyway, we're going to be Crappy Hour. We have Misha on. He's great. We've done his show a few times, and we are excited to have him on our show to talk the latest Bravo gossip and news and whatever else is on our minds. So come join us really all afternoon and evening and right now.
And then after this, we're going to record our bonus episode, which is going to be about our trip to Vegas this weekend, where I went to see Beyonce and we both met up and saw the Backstreet Boys and had VIP backstage access. So join us for that. That should be a fun one.
Yeah, it was great. So we'll tell you all the details.
Wow.
Well, I feel like we were VVIP. I felt like it was Chanel Ion level. It felt that way. That's how I felt. And we can't wait to tell you all the fun details of going to the Sphere and everything. So that's coming up. But for right now, it's time to put a button on the season of Atlanta. And we pick up with Portia and Shamia, and they are still angry at each other, and they're mad. And I think where we left off was talking about the mothers and, some assorted backstory between the mothers.
Well, yes, we started getting into the daycare fight of Real Housewives of Atlanta moms. So Andy's like, well, Shamia, I did see that Portia did a birthday post for you. So that was nice. I mean, in Housewives world, that's basically as good as anything else you're going to ever get. And Shamia's like, yeah, that was really sweet. Oh, by the way, did you see Shamia's Instagram? Shamia has tested my nerves. I think a lot of the audience's nerves, where she's like nice, but she hasn't really delivered, I think, the way that we've all wanted to. But I have to say, she did an Insta post yesterday that really delivered to my heart. It was Shamia. It was like a professionally done video, of course, because she's rich as hell. And it's in her gorgeous home, and she's sitting on a couch. And the music is like piano, tinkling, sad piano music. It's like tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. And she sits down and she moves her hair, and she's like, guys, my family and friends have never steered me wrong, and so I'd like to tinkle, 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 dramatic music. She's like, I'd like to sincerely apologize, starting with Portia. And then she names all the ladies. She just names everybody, to Phaedra, even Phaedra, who just got here, to Kelly, to Britt, to Kenya, to Angela, to Kim Zolciak, to Nene Leakes, to Andy Cohen, to Darren Karp, Andy Cohen's famous assistant, to anybody I could possibly apologize to. I would just like to sincerely say, I'm sorry if I did anything to offend you. Tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. I was like, oh, wow, thanks. Like a 5-minute apology video that says nothing. It's like the biggest sorry if I've ever seen. And I cracked up that whole damn time. So good for you, Shamia. Funniest shit you did all season. Nice work.
Yeah. Good for you, Shamia. So Yeah, so they have this whole nanny, like not nanny, daycare fight, and Portia's accusing Shamia of like launching a smear campaign against her, and this is where Portia's like, "Why are you fighting with me?" And Shamia's like, "Why are you fighting with me?" She's like, "Because you're lying." She's like, "And you don't think you've been lying too? What have I been lying about? You posted about my mom saying she did something egregious to your mom," which, as we all know, the most egregious thing you can do is buy someone's daycare out of foreclosure. I mean, it's really just, I don't even like to say it out loud. I don't like the words to come out of my lips because it's so ominous.
Yeah. And she's like, "Why are you even bringing up my mom?" She's like, she did something egregious. So what did she do? And Shamia's like, "Well, listen, if anybody asks me about your mom, I say that's not my business. But now we're going to find out the story," which is what we thought last week. Portia tells us that the moms were best friends. They were both in the childcare industry. And they both, they would give tips back and forth, like we can't technically beat the kids because they're not our kids, but we can use fly swatters or suggest they lick their finger and stick it in a light socket when they misbehave, stuff like that, just innocent stuff like that. But, then Portia's mom's location was going under foreclosure, and Shamia's mom went behind Portia's mom's back, and she bought it as soon as it went on foreclosure. To which I say, pay your rent. Pay your rent. What is she supposed to do? Go pay your rent for you? Pay your rent.
Yeah, exactly. I want to know the backstory. Why did it go into foreclosure? Why was that daycare not as well attended, or was it well attended but it was poorly run? Like, let's get into it. Let's get into the nitty gritty of what went down with, I don't know, True Sunshine Daycare. I don't know if it's called that. I'm just going to call it that.
True Sunshine. So then, when I was a little kid, my family owned a daycare. Did you know this?
Of course they did. No, I had no. Was it the bowling alley?
No, it was called Community of Faith, and it was a Christian daycare. And my family owned it. I was, raised. I went to that school, and there was a lot of drama in the daycare industry. So I get it, guys. Like, I get it. I'm a hardened. Listen, at like 3 years old, I became a hardened daycare industry vet. So I totally get it. And let me tell you who I haven't spoken to since I was four or five, the Mixers, who ended up taking over that daycare. Now, was there drama? I don't know. Did we just grow apart after I was 5? I don't know. But I can tell you this, knowing the Mixers, it probably was egregious. So if I could ever find Robbie or David Mixer again, I would fight with them over their mother and father being egregious towards my parents.
So egregious. Of faith. Egregious and Kathy Lee is just really, it's awful. Wait a second. Was were the Mixers related to the anchor woman who was mean to your mom?
No, that was totally separate. But I think there was some drama because the original daycare, there was another daycare that started, and that was just when I was born, so I don't remember it. But my parents should not be shocked I was gay, because guess what it was called? Fairyland. And then that somehow morphed into this new business called Community of Faith. So actually, now that we're talking about it, I need to interview my parents and get the drama, because daycare drama is suddenly in again. It's in. I have a book on my hands.
It's the new hot topic. Daycare drums. Like, and it's actually nice because sometimes when there is daycare drama, it's like the worst, scariest kind of drama. It's like the disturbing kind that you get like really upset about. It's like the whatever that James Wood movie about the daycare, but like petty daycare drama, it's a refreshing twist on an old standard. So I applaud it.
Yeah.
So Portia is like, yeah, and you know how my mom found out about it was because her friend bought her business because we drove past it and she was putting up the sign. Why do I feel like I do not believe that Shamia's mom was up on that ladder hoisting up the sign as Miss Diane came driving by. Unless, on the other hand, I completely believe it if Shamia's mom is. We need to meet Shamia's mom more so we can know how petty she is. Because is she the type of mom and just be like, oh, here she comes, like start to hoist the sign up, or is Portia just being?
I hope she's super petty. I hope they passed that daycare and she was putting up an upside down picture of Miss Diane with a mustache on her.
Yeah,
like Miss Diane is gone now. She's gone.
Yeah.
They have a little fight about this, but we don't get too far into it, which is really upsetting because that would have given me more chances to go talk about Fairyland and Community of Faith.
Well,
but we did.
Well, there's some disagreement here because Shamia says that they were the moms weren't talking for years prior. And so, like, it wasn't like Shamia's mom bought the business and Diane was like, enough with this lady. There already was a rift. And so it's almost like, no, her pettiness was justified because it was, it came as a result of many years of pettiness between the women. So this was just another step that they took. But Portia's making it sound like, no, she was pretending to be a good friend, but then she went and, vultured this business.
Well, don't you see the similarities? Because it's exactly what these people are doing right now. It's exactly what their daughters are doing all these years later. They're having a fight about one thing, but then Portia's like, no, I didn't go to your wedding, because we were beefing before that. That was a big revelation this year. Like, it wasn't just because of my leg circulation. It's also because we were fighting. And so,
yes.
They're doing, we follow the same patterns as our parents, which is why I'm still terrible at bowling or holding on to daycare centers.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really, really difficult.
I'm still being thwarted by mixers all these years later.
It's why I still love Tina Turner. I just follow my mom's footsteps. So Portia's denying it. Portia's saying that they didn't have a long-standing beef before then, and Shamia's saying it did happen that way. And she said that she's like, they were not talking about some other stuff, and I don't want to speak on it. I don't want to speak on it. And it's gonna be some stupid thing like someone like Diane, borrowed Shamia's mom's, Dodge Dart and like got a ding in it, and that caused this whole generational trauma.
Not the Dodge Dart. Damn. Going
Not
deep
the
into
elephant
war.
in the room. Georgia comes in from Next Gen New York City.
So Andy's like, well, there are a few things happening here. My knee is asleep. I didn't even know knees could sleep. And, there were accusations of chattering behind each other's back. And Portia's like, no, not each other's. And Shamia's like, yes, each other's for sure, because she loved to sit there and chatter with Britt, which, as I think Portia points out right now, I agree with. This isn't a fair comparison because she didn't sit around chattering with her about it. Britt brought her, a bone. So what is she supposed to do? She's like, she's just coming to me to tell me what you said. I didn't sit there and chatter with her about it. And she didn't even give in to Britt and talk shit about you. She said, whatever, I'm fine with Shamia. I'll work that out with Shamia.
Right. And Cynthia verifies this. She's like, yeah, it was Britt who came up and showed the text messages. And Cynthia's like, and in that moment, Portia, I was like, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Thank you, Cynthia. So Portia's like, yeah, we had a beautiful relationship prior to the show before she tried to come for my job. And Shamia's like, we did. And she's like, but once we start filming, she took it to the left. All the friendship in a box to the left.
And she goes, oh, yeah, I did. It was all me. I mean, from what we saw, it was you.
No, I think
what did Portia ever do? Well, that's not
Portia
true.
was a
I take
dick.
it back because there was that thing at the bank where Portia was like, oh, is that Drew's song? That sounds just like Drew. So
Portia's not totally innocent here. I don't think Portia liked Shamia being on her show, despite everything she said. I don't think she liked it. Although she does, Andy does.
I didn't see anything that she did to say that. I thought that thing that she did in the bank party was shady, but all I've seen is Shamia talking about Portia not being a good friend the whole season to everybody, to people that weren't Portia's friends, to the point where it kept coming back to Portia over and over again. So as far as that goes, all I really see is I only see that from Shamia's side. I don't remember Portia ever doing anything to her except for that sounds like Drew's song or whatever.
Yeah, I think that like a lot of the stuff is just, I think there's probably just, obviously there's pent up stuff from over the years. Like the fact that we are going back into the issue about Shamia's wedding. And now Portia admits that it was, actually, I didn't go because I was angry at you. Like, I think Shamia's just been in the sidekick role for a long time. And now she stepped out from being a sidekick and she's kind of like vomiting all her issues all over the place, which is her own fault. But I also don't think that I'm not sure Portia is comfortable with Shamia not being a sidekick.
You think everyone's uncomfortable with Portia not being a sidekick?
No, I think Portia's not comfortable. Sorry. I think Portia is not comfortable with Shamia no longer in the sidekick role. I think she says she wants Shamia to be on the show, but I don't think that I think the reality of it is that I don't know if she really loves it. Like, I still remember she showed up like really late to Shamia's like opening season party, and then shows up right when Shamia is like having this big in the spotlight moment. So Portia kind of like undermines that. There was the moment in the bank with the singing, and I don't know. I just feel like
showing up.
I think there's blood on both their hands here. I just think there's something. I think that Portia's slick. I think she's really slick, and I think she's a diva, and she has a track record of being a diva and wanting things her way. And I think Shamia did not handle it well at all, and she got really clocked for it at this reunion for really just not being emotionally honest about like how she truly feels about a situation, which is why she's in this stinking mess in the first place. But I think that Portia's not innocent.
No, I don't think she's innocent. I just think that if you're friends with Portia, you're not going to be shocked that Portia shows up late, because I'm not friends with Portia, but I've watched this show and I know that Portia's late for everything. Like literally, this is the first time she's even showed up to half the things on time. Remember the last season she was on, she was not showing up at all. She would show up like 6 hours after an event, like every time. They'd be like, Portia, are you even going to come film the show?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Look, I don't think Portia's completely innocent, but I think as far as what we've seen on the show, it's been mostly Shamia started. And then Shamia acts like, what? I didn't do any of that. And she's just not honest about it. Like when Portia said last week, like, you had 2 weddings. I went to the local wedding. She's like, no, we didn't have a local wedding. And everyone's like, yes, you did have a local wedding. And then we find out that she did have a local wedding. It was like the dowry ceremony or something. I forget what it's called. Sorry, I don't mean to be culturally insensitive. I literally, when it comes to weddings, I block them out because it usually means I have to buy shit for people that I barely know. But she did go to that. Portia was like a bridesmaid in her local ceremony, and then they had another one in Kenya that she didn't go to. But it's just the way that Shamia kind of skirts around things that I don't know that I would call her a liar, because I like Shamia at the end of the day, but she's not 100% truthful with the way she relays stuff.
Yeah, that's why she's getting she's sort of they are kind of giving her some slaps on the wrist for not being honest about how she feels about it. Like last episode, they're like, Shamia, you're not over it. She's like, I'm over it. Like, you're not. You have to be honest. You're not over it. Whatever it was they were talking about last week. So she does need to communicate better about these things. But I also think, she also needs to communicate smarter. I think it's okay to vent about a friend who is like, if a friend is frustrating you and you need to sort of vent a little bit, you can vent to your friends, but don't vent to your co-stars, because they're going to bring it right to the other person and center you in some sort of drama. And that's really what happened to her here. So
and ain't that just a life lesson? Be careful who you talk shit to. Be careful who you talk shit to. I mean, come on, guys. Can't just be talking shit to everybody.
If you do talk shit, just if you get confronted with it, just be like, yep, I was talking shit. What, moving on.
Yeah.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
So Andy is like, Shamia, is there anything that happened during the season that you could apologize for or take ownership for right now? She says, yes, I apologize. And if you just give it a few months, I will be releasing a very evocative video on my social media with a soundtrack to flesh this out. But I do own talking about my friendship problems with Portia to these ladies, these fuckers over here. And everyone on the sofa is like, whoa, 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 whoa. She's like, I just wish I had a third party here. You mean like a therapist? Because that sounds like who you should be talking to.
I'd like to sing my new song, Daycare, dedicated to Portia. Daycare, daycare. You care about daycare, but do you care about me in the day? Ooh. Drew's like, I never ran back with anything. I never ran back. And she's like, yeah, I wish I had somebody on my side, because you all said she feels the friendship was lopsided. But, those are things that you guys were feeling. And Angela's like, that's not what I said. And she's like, well, but then when it was taken to Portia, it was said like how that was how I felt, even though it was you guys saying the friendship was lopsided. But then it sounded like I was saying the friendship was lopsided, even though I'm completely saying right now that the friendship is lopsided. I never said that to you guys, which is just like, that's what I'm talking about. She talks herself in these circles. Like, you've already told us 10 times in this reunion you feel the relationship is lopsided. So why are you arguing that you never said you thought the relationship was lopsided?
She's like, I feel the relationship is lopsided, but I never told you guys that I thought it was lopsided. You guys just figured that out and told her, but I never said that to you, even though that's how I feel truly.
Yeah, I never said the word lopsided, but I just described the friendship as lopsided, which made you guys describe it that way to her. How dare you? Okay, and this is another reason, Ben, that Shamia is kind of on my nerves, because of all the Instagrams that have been posted. Okay, so here's one from Portia. A round of applause for my bestie, Shamia. Clapping emojis. Welcome to Real Housewives of Atlanta as an official housewife. Peach, finally, let's get this show on the road and light these screens up. Love you. Congratulations and happy birthday. Love you long time. Queen Wangi has entered the chat. Peach holder, over 20 years of friendship. Hashtags 2 girls dancing hashtags. Pia, and then this is another one. Shamia Morton lying again in her latest post. She claims flowers were for her birthday when the card I sent on the flowers clearly say congratulations. Going out sad, sis, to Lulu, and you better not edit it either. Then we see a Shamia post that says, again, I had one wedding that took place in Nairobi, Kenya. What you attended was my dowry ceremony in my mom's backyard. Second, you sent flowers on my birthday week just before we started filming. I'd had my peach for over a month. So I said we never celebrated. You can keep your fake receipts with your fake ass friendships.
Well, I mean, I don't know. This is what's always so tricky, is that the Portia thing, it's like, well, that's pretty clear that Portia was celebrating Shamia, but then Shamia's like, yeah, back that up. It like, you waited, like we never celebrated, and then you posted something on social media that makes it look like you're being a supportive friend.
There's also a picture of the flowers with the card.
But like, this is like an age-old housewife thing, which is like, oh, you do something that's performative for the masses to make it look like you're being a supportive friend, but actually privately you're not being supportive at all, but you're just letting people think that. And that's like, I think what Shamia's saying here. And we've seen this happen before on Housewives, like you never called me. You waited until this reunion. You made it a public thing. So it's hard to gauge on this one for me. I don't know. I think I'm, thank you. I understand, Ben. It's tough. It's tough being a recapper sometimes. But I think that like my bias.
I get
no. I think it was funny. It's funny, like as recappers, we're like consoling each other. Like, it's hard sometimes. But I think that like I bring to this season, many seasons of Portia. And especially like her final season that you mentioned, where she was late to things and she like was not she really was like not dialed in, or she was very self-producing, and she would leave a trip early because she didn't want to do it anymore, in a way where she was like acting like she was bigger than the show. And I just have to imagine like that energy just doesn't go away overnight necessarily, but although it's been a few years, to be fair. So for me, I guess I bring that into this season, is remembering that Portia, who, like, as much as I love Portia, I know there's that side of her, and I can imagine that side is a very difficult side to deal with in a friendship.
Yeah. I guess to me, it just looks like Shamia, has a bunch of built up stuff, but she got on this show and she's like, I need something, so I'm coming for my best friend, and I'm going to just go. And she doesn't have enough to really come after her. She should have really held off until season 2 or 3, because a natural progression on a Housewives show is to get annoyed. So we all know that alliances, whenever someone's like, oh my God, this is my bestie, that they're going to be fighting within a year, within
always.
The second season of that friendship. And so she really needed to just water this and let the resentments grow, because I think right now they're just not too much. I mean, the fact that somebody sent you a whole bouquet of white roses was best one of your bridesmaids in your wedding that you're pretending wasn't really a wedding, and then did all this stuff, made you a post, which may not sound like a big deal, but these women are fame whores, all of them, and everyone on Bravo, not just the women. We're just talking about women today, but these people on Bravo are all fame whores. And so, someone with millions of followers making a post saying, welcome at Shamia Morton to this thing, that is a big deal. It's like she's saying, go follow this chick, so that's a gift to a fame hungry person. So, I mean, I feel like after doing all of that and then coming back and being like, you didn't do anything, you don't want me on this show, and you didn't support me, is completely crazy when you were the one coming for her all season and trying to make her look like a bad friend. So that's kind of where I'm standing with the whole thing. I don't really hate anybody. I'm just proud of Portia. I'm just giving Portia so much credit for just showing up for half of her scenes this year.
Yeah.
For me, that goes a long way. I'm like, look, it's her. She's actually here.
She had a better dress at the reunion. I'll say that. I think also that I forgot what I was gonna say. I forgot. It was some really good point. So just pretend I just made like a great point, and you guys are like, that was a great point.
Well, you know what?
I'll tell you what. Good.
I'll tell you what you just want out of me. Silence with that point. Damn. Enjoy the
I don't know what it was. Oh, I was gonna say, actually, really, if Shamia did come on to the show purely to litigate like old beefs with Portia and to like, air out all her grievances, she should have I agree that she should have waited a little bit so that way we cared more, because I have to say, ultimately, even though we are somehow just debating this for 10 minutes, I don't actually care very much about their falling out and their beef. I didn't feel like I had enough buy-in on it because there were other things on the show that were distracting me away from it. And so, I think I would have maybe waited so that way it could be a more central thing. And in fact, if anything, this season should have been about them being besties. We knew that they're besties, but we needed to really see them as main character energy besties that we could get into. So that way next season, the trailer could be black and white, bum, bum, bum. I'm oh my God, Shamia and Portia aren't talking anymore. Whereas this season, it's sort of Shamia was there. She's on the show and she has some resentments towards Portia, and okay.
You need to build it up before you can crash it down.
Yeah.
That was, if it's not a demo, if you're watching a building get demolished, that's amazing. When they demolish those old casinos in Vegas, they're like, oh, we're finally getting rid of the Desert Inn or whatever. And it's this huge thing and it's all over the news. But without the building, it's just some bomb going off. Who cares? We need destruction. Build it up.
Yeah, we need it to be as dramatic as possible. Don't take off the first 3 stories and then demolish the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. I think we figured that one out. I feel really good about that.
Let's go.
We fixed
it's been a long season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then Drew's like, well, when we went to lunch, there was never a question asked you. How Drew talks sometimes, she lawyers things in arguments. She's like, well, when we went to lunch, there was never a question asked you by me or Angela about the nature of your relationship with Portia. It almost felt like you needed to get it out. And Shamia's like, well, and she goes, and we were just giving you a safe space. And she goes, well, apparently that wasn't a safe space. And she goes, well, I didn't take it back to Portia. And Angela's like, I didn't. And Shamia's like, well, you took it back wrong.
Well, the point is that you had to pinky swear because you wanted to divulge this, and it was something very heavy on you. Which, by the way, if that is true, you guys are shitty. You guys broke the pinky swear. You guys broke the pinky. This was something that was weighing heavily on you, and it meant a lot to you and was important, and you wanted our secrecy, which is why we then told Portia.
There's no pinky swearing on Housewives.
No, there definitely is not.
And the only reason you share information like that with other cast members on Housewives is so that they can bring it forward. There's no oh, I just really need to get off this. I need to get something really personal off my chest. So who I'm going to trust? People on a TV show. No, you tell them when you want to carry to carry the bags for you.
Yeah. All right. It almost sounds to me like you've had a harder time with what's happened after the show. Portia, would you like to elaborate? So, yeah. So there's a friendship group that we have, a private friendship group. They're a private friendship group. They're friendship for money. They'll do what they want you to do. Sorry,
I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to do that.
And you could hear me grinding. You could hear me grinding to a halt, trying to figure out how to do it. And then I stuttered it out.
Friendship for money.
Ditch marks or dollars. American Express will do nicely, thank you.
So she says, basically, she's like that there's some ladies in the friendship group, and Shamia told them that Portia didn't want Shamia to be a peach holder, and that Portia didn't congratulate her. So it was like, these are the third parties. It's the private friendship group, which I'm assuming are like the women who are at the other end of the table during the Nashville party, but like private friends.
Think so too, yeah. Like the real
private friends.
and then the TV friends. And she's like, so the private friends are saying the same things that the TV friends are, which means you are going to literally everybody you see and talking shit. Why are you lying? And she's like, Andy, have I always wanted Shamia to be on this show? And he's like, yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, remember the first time you begged me, we said boring. He said no. And the second time we said awful. You said no. The third time we said terrible. Please don't let her sing. And finally, all these years later, it worked. So yeah, Shamia's just like, thanks. This feels great.
Yeah, remember when I said Shamia should definitely be on the shows?
Yeah, and you said Shamia should be on the show so I could just shit on her, right?
No, I never said that part. Quiet, Andy.
So Portia's like,
So moving on, now I'm watching live interviews, and someone asks you, like, where's your friendship stand? And you say, well, now that I have a peach, it's different. Why?
and Shamia's like, it is different. She's,
But I never talked about you, Shamia. I'm watching interviews of you saying I don't want you in the show. You sang a song about it.
she basically is saying, like, I never did this stuff, and you're talking all this shit about me right now.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, really? This is Shamia. She says, girl, are you serious? Like, you all had that conversation together saying that I was screwing Candy and Todd, and I didn't do that to myself. And Portia's like, nobody was sabotaging your marriage. So now they're kind of talking over each other. And Shamia's saying, I said you could have, I didn't say you ruined my engagement. I said you could have ruined my engagement had he listened to you two. And Portia's like, well, they're saying you would have played a part in sabotaging your own engagement at that time. And she goes, okay. And Portia goes, because I kissed Candy in the club and you kissed Candy in the club. So now we're going back to the Candy in the club kissing. I mean, this all hinges on that one season. And Shamia's like, well, what we're not gonna do. And Kelly's just like, did she just say that they both kissed Candy in the club? And we never go back to that, but...
Yeah. So Portia's like, well, you brought up this stuff from 10 years ago, and I do as many press days as you do. Okay. And possibly more because I've been on the show a little bit more. Right. And everyone's like, shade. She goes, it wasn't a dig. It wasn't a dig. I'm just like, I've done more press. And they're like, it was a dig. And she's like, what I'm trying to say is I've been asked the exact same questions that you were asked, and I've never disparaged our relationship whatsoever. And I thought we had a beautiful friendship.
Yeah. And Shamia's like, yeah, well, I thought we did too. But then I found out you didn't come to the wedding in Kenya because of the beefing. Also, because it was in Kenya. That's far. That is far.
That is far. Honestly, that's a very far. That's more than a destination wedding. That's like if you like go up to colonize Mars, you're not coming back. Like you're going far.
It's too far.
So Andy asks basically, he points out that Kelly and Shamia have become very close. So he asks Kelly what her thoughts are. And Kelly's answer is like clank, 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 clank.
Seriously, I kept thinking my ring thing was going off because sometimes it literally made like the chong chong sound that the ring makes.
It was like, she's like, well, Andy, that's a really good question. And like, me and Shamia built a beautiful bond and like a beautiful friendship with each other. And I always tell her, I really hope and pray that her and Portia can just figure this out. I just want her to tell her how you really feel. And like, this is a good moment to tell her because some of us who are going through long divorces don't have these moments. Okay, I'm getting divorced.
It was like lunchtime in a Luby's every time she talked. The senior
Those
citizens
bangles
clanking on their plates over and over again, trying to find the bottom of their fish with mayonnaise on top.
They need to attach those little felt pads that you put at the bottom of your chair to protect floor. They just need to attach them in between the different bangles. That way they don't clank as much. Listen, we've been through clanking.
I mean, girl,
yeah,
earrings, everybody's earrings. Like, are any of you worried about your ear holes? Like, can we get some ear hole PSAs from somebody? Because, geez.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Drew secretly had massive earrings. I love that Drew put on these enormous earrings, and then put her hair all the way over them, so you don't even notice the big earrings until like the end of the show. I'm like, why do you even have the big earrings if you're going to hide them? I don't know. But the clanking was out of control. And listen, we've been through clanking. We've been through Asa on Shaza Sunset. Like, we've been through Shaza and Sunset reunions. There's a lot of gold moving around in those. But this was really... This is next level.
This was a lot. Yeah. So, Kelly is like, yeah, you know, this is a good moment to tell her, you know, you need to tell her how you really feel, Shamia. And Portia's like, this is not her moment. You know what her moment was? When we had our final moment. You know what her moment was? When I called her and talked to her about it. And Kelly's like, no, it's her moment. Let her have her moment. Clink, 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 clink. Let her have her moment. Clink, clink, clink. And Portia's like, you know, now it's just a beat up on Portia's section. And she's like, girl, nobody's beating up on you, Portia. Let her have her moment. Now, Shamia. And Shamia's like, thank you. When we sat one-on-one, I thought we had a very clean slate and we were moving forward. And then I noticed she was distancing herself from me. I mean, even around Londi's funeral time, I'm reaching out like, hey, can we link up, girl? Can you believe that? She was ignoring me during someone's funeral.
And I'm not trying to discredit that you were grieving. All I'm trying to say is, as I was continuing to try to reach out, to hang out, and to hook up. And Portia's like, whatever. And she's like, see, look, even the way you just did that, the way you rolled your eyes, that's dismissive. She's,
Yeah, because you're using the things against me.
she's like, but do you see what I'm saying?
Can you ever phrase a sentence without trying to make me look bad?
She's like, no, because I'm trying to make you look bad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like let a girl have goals. But yeah, Portia's like, I'm grieving my cousin and you're using me not calling you back right after my cousin died as an example of me being a bad friend. Like, can I grieve my cousin with you without you even making me look like a terrible person? And she's like, how dare you not call me from the gravesite? I wanted to have lunch that day. And so Shamia's like, well, I wouldn't have even known there was beef unless... I wouldn't have even known that there was any beef unless Cynthia didn't tell me. Unless I think that means Cynthia told me. I told Portia like what Britt had done, and after I saw them hanging out and then posting, I'm like, oh, okay, so she made her decision. I basically told her that Britt, you know, said all this stuff and she's still hanging out with Britt. And Britt, she's like, that had nothing to do with you. What are you talking about? What you did was what you did. Me hanging out with Britt has nothing to do with you.
It really got into the weeds at this point. This is one of those points where I was like, just sort of like letting the words wash over me. I'm like, the takeaway is they're angry at each other and they're just they're just saying things because they're talking about the friendship and like, well, you became friends with Kelly, not because of this, but because of that, but you like Kelly. And of course I like Kelly. And so Kelly is like,
it's Portia is mad at certain things that Shamia said or did, interviews or things that she said to the other girls. Shamia is mad about all of these little things that don't even have any concrete. She can't even say a concrete thing. Like, you said this to this person. It's just like, I feel like you didn't want me on the show. I feel like you chose Britt over me in that moment because you should have not liked her after I told her stuff that she showed me the texts or whatever all this stuff is. So, I mean, I kind of understand one side of it, and I'm kind of glad that Portia's keeping up on her. Like, what are you even coming at me for now? Because everything she's bringing up to me just seems silly at this point. I can't get mad at anything. And you know that I'd love to get angry. I'm filled with rage all the time, and I'm just not, I don't even feel it. And that's sad.
You don't feel
You can't even fill me with rage.
yeah.
You know what I'm mad at today? Because I parked yesterday somewhere and they left a little parking ticket under my windshield, and I didn't want to get out of the car and take it off. And so it's been flapping under my windshield wiper. And so I literally woke up today like, should I call somebody? Because I'm pissed. What if it rained? I was thinking, what if it rained? And then I would have been stuck there with a windshield wiper with this crusty shit on it, and it would have ruined the thing. And then next time I went to use it, it would have scratched my window, and that would have cost me hundreds of goddamn dollars.
Wait, was this I thought you were saying like you got a traffic ticket. It's just like the little tag that they put in.
Yeah.
Actually, when it rains, I find, in my experience, okay, everyone, we're gonna get deep here. my experience is whenever they put those tags on, I have often been lazy and I just let it sit there under the windshield wiper. And then I'm like, well, maybe I'll try to wipe it off. And you do the windshield wiper because it'll just fly off, which is actually not bad because I think that's actually technically littering. So pretend I never said that, but also pretend I never said the following. So, but it'll never release. It's like, I'm staying here. You must hand pluck me off. But I do find that once there's actually some like moisture from like rain or like a spritz, then the ticket's like, whoa, and then it like sticks to the windshield more and it releases itself from the windshield wiper and then it disappears into the ether. I'm not saying I do a tiny little.
Well, that's what's going to happen because I'm not taking it out myself. And then yesterday I was driving and then I was like, okay, you know when you try and turn on the windshield wiper and then grab it with your hand, but it's too far down. It's too far down on the windshield wiper. And so I was driving and I was like, holding the steering wheel, and then I'm reaching out of the car.
Do it when you're parked.
With the wind. And I was like, I'm going to die like this because that person left my thing here. I'm going to call someone tomorrow and tell them I died. I'm just going to be like, hi, this is a call from a ghost of a person that could still be on this earth. Had it not been for you leaving a parking ticket thing at the very bottom of my windshield, I couldn't even get it when I was driving. And now I'm dead.
Ugh. Well, I have some real rageful things to say to Delta Airlines, and I have some rageful things to say to the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Vegas. But I will save that for the bonus episode because that's where you're going to hear me angry. You're going to hear me angry this week on this bonus episode. You'll also hear me like very ecstatic and happy, but I'll also be angry too at those two businesses who cost me time and money in a bad way.
Okay.
Bad
I
way.
can't wait to hear it.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Anyway, my point is, like, I can get rageful over anything, and Shamia can't even make me mad. And that's a bad sign for a housewife. So Portia's like, well, I think it's odd for you to go sit after you and Britt had that conversation about me. Because Kelly's like, well, that friendship's very different, And Kelly's like, well, I think your friendship with Britt is very calculated. And Britt's not your friend. Britt could care less about what you have going on. Okay, Kelly, but you were friends with her this whole season. While you could use Britt as a weapon against everybody else, she was fine with you. But then when that weapon was turned on you, now you have this big problem with her. So you don't really have a whole lot of credence in this. Like,
hold on, Ronnie, hold on before you start to get mad, because it seemed like you weren't mad all this recap, but you were just about to get mad right now. Let me stop you right now. Cynthia, where could these two go? You have been sitting in the same exact position for 4 hours. You haven't even moved. This is amazing. Are you a statue?
You've just been sitting there nodding your head while you're squinting your eyes like you just feel terrible about everything. What do you have to say, Cynthia? Any advice, Auntie Cynthia? And Cynthia's like, well, as someone who's been on the show for 900 years, I'd just like to say, whenever I'm sad, I sit on my countertops. Or I walk around my countertops. Or I lean on my countertops. Because countertops can change a girl's life. All right. Thank you. Thank you to the love of Cynthia's life, the countertops of the lake house. Thank you.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Well, this year was the most difficult year ever, and it really was. And I'm literally at the bottom.
And Pedro goes, depleted.
Yeah. So at this...
I laughed at that. Pedro just goes, depleted.
Yeah. Not a single pleat left on my pants. So, at this space and time of my life, I just want to be exactly where I feel comfortable. And I do not feel comfortable within my friendship with Shamia. And as I'm sure she doesn't feel comfortable with me either. I'm only human. I'm just a girl standing in front of a guy who sells hot dogs, asking him to stop talking to Drew. And I can only deal with so much. And I don't have anything else to offer at this moment. No questions, please. No more. No further questions. Thank you.
And Shamia's like, okay, that's real. That's real. And Andy's like, okay, well, how do you take it, Shamia? You kept saying you wanted to have your say, and now's your chance to have your say. And she's like, well, that's the difference between us. Because if even at times where I didn't have the bandwidth to deal with it, because I had my own shit happening, I would find the bandwidth to deal with it. Except for all the times that I didn't would deal with it for a year and just talk to all our friends about Portia. But
Drew's like, wait, you got free Wi-Fi?
What's that?
Drew's like, you got free Wi-Fi? What? You got
and she's like, I have that kind of love for Portia, so much so where everybody calls me her lapdog. And Andy's like, okay,
Look at this.
got it.
Look at the sacrifices I made. I endured being called her lapdog because I used bandwidth to talk to her. She goes, so it hurt me to think I came to the show to sabotage her because ultimately I just want peace for both of us, you know? And Andy's like, you take that, Portia? Yeah. All right. Cynthia's like, yay. Cynthia claps like they actually achieved something. She's like, yay. I'm like, nothing was, they hate each other, Cynthia. Relax.
And Andy's also
nothing has happened.
Andy set these reunions up to be like, if you don't make up, then you're fired. You know, like he can't just have them always fighting. So he gets them to fight. And then he's like, so do you see a path forward? And every single time they have to say, yes, no matter what's happened, I see a path forward. He's like, okay, you can have another season. Because if they don't, he's like, one of you is fired. So it's like little kids getting in trouble, you know, because he's like, Portia, did you hear that? And she's like, yes. He's like, okay, well done. I guess we're moving on then. Finally solved it. Me, Andy Cohen.
Yeah, I think that Shamia, I think the lesson is that if you feel a certain way, I think for your own benefit, don't talk to the other cast members quietly off camera. Make a scene on camera so that way our show is better. Okay.
I wish he'd used different terminology because he goes, you need to figure out a way to vocalize it. No, she doesn't. Don't use vocalize around her. Okay. I've had enough of the vocalizing.
Well, because it's diverting in a million different ways, but it still exists, and you're friends with Portia and everybody else's. It's only gonna suit you to say that you really pissed me off when you did that, and I'm hurt. So you can move forward, and that's the backbone of an honest relationship. Andy, all of a sudden, trying to be like Dr. Simone giving therapy on a beach somewhere. It's like, okay, Andy, relax.
Sisters. At the end of the day, we are sisters who come together on a beach.
I'd love when Andy gives these pep talks as if he is not like the figurehead of a franchise that actively tries to tear people apart for like.
That's what's so good about it every time. He built an entire empire on getting women to fight with each other in ball gowns. And then he's like, now say you're sorry. Like, you started
want to set attention. I mean, the backbone of an honest friendship is apologizing and being your authentic self. By the way, she slept with your husband. So. Yeah. Shamia's like, I own that. Like, I literally do. I'm very wealthy and I accept that and I'm going to work on that. And I think that naturally, just like when I got a lot of stuff happening in my life, like the elevator in my house broke down again. You guys all understand that. Oh, none of you guys have elevators. Okay. Well, maybe just me, but people who are in my socioeconomic class would understand these things. I don't know if I have it in me right now. Okay. So I just choose to move past it manually on a staircase because, elevator broken. I'm literally moving on a staircase. It's very sad. I feel like I'm Drusadora in her ranch home. Anyway, I'm just going to sweep it under a rug. Unlike Drusadora, she cannot afford a maid. And that's okay. It's coping. It's right. Cause I don't have to deal with it right now. It's okay.
So, now we see the guys backstage. Why is Ralph here?
Why is Ralph here? A question that people ask in any establishment. Jamba Juice. Why is Ralph here at Jamba Juice?
And Dennis is here in his, is that a Louis Vuitton, barber robe that he's wearing to get his makeup in? I don't know. It's some famous brand. I'm too poor to know what it is, but I do know it's very expensive.
I was not looking carefully enough, but as we all know, that's hot dog money right there. That's hot dog vendor money.
That's hot dog Bulgari. So then, Dennis is like, yeah, when the girls beefing, you gotta stay out of it. We gotta let women handle their own business because women are women and men are men, And he's like, I'm here to support baby mama Andrew because that's family, So we're gonna keep it positive. So then we go back and Andy's like, here we are, we're back, Drew. This season we watched you battle with a divorce that seems to have no end to hidden ring cameras in sight and an ex-husband that is banished to the basement.
By the way, I think we know the reason why Ralph is here because he got a free edge up. He's like, what? There's free edge up in New York City? I'm there. So Andy's like, okay, well, will you be able to sing your way out of this sad song? Let's watch. So it's now the Drew package. We see everything, the basement, the lawsuit, the mom crying, saying the kids are acting up, all the greatest hits. So Andy's like,
Drew is sending the kids to therapy because her mom said that they were acting up. And she's like, you really need to get the opinion of an outsider looking in, because I thought everything was fine. But my mom's gone for a few months. She comes back. The kids are acting different. But also kids grow up and they do start smarting off to you. So I think it's kind of natural.
Yeah.
But Andy's like, well, go ahead.
Ralph tweeted that your mom needed to watch her mouth because after your dad's death, she spent all his money and Ralph had to bail her out. What do you think about that?
Tacky. God, Ralph. Jesus. That guy's so tacky.
So Ralph. And Drew is like, well, that was a new low. I mean, my father was a prominent pediatrician and you're coming against his legacy. I mean, my cousin Michael Jordan was furious, and my mom had an anxiety attack. So she's like, yeah, this is fucked up. And Andy's like, well, there was also a reason.
To be fair, he wasn't coming after your dad's legacy. He never said anything about your dad. He said that your dad left her a lot of money and she spent it all. But whatever. I'm still.
But also, it's rude. Honestly, I think it's real fresh, as my mom would say. That's real fresh for Ralph to say that her mom needed to watch her mouth.
Yeah,
it is a bit fresh.
Disgusting.
It's a bit fresh, Ralph.
Beyond fresh. It's fucking trash and disgusting. And if for anything, Drew, this whole like, well, sometimes I make up with him and sometimes I don't. I don't think you can be with a guy who talks about your mom like that. Like, that's gross.
Don't want to be with a guy who talks to women that way, and especially a mom. Women and your elders, no sir.
I'm the only one allowed to disrespect my mother in this relationship, sir. So she's like, yeah, it's a whole new storm because all this started to affect my mom. And so then Andy brings up this viral clip. Don't know, I'm sure we've all seen it because it's viral. It's viral, everybody. There's a viral clip supposedly of them cooking together, and he shows a clip of it, and they're like just this happy, perfect couple. And she's like, well, that was just an effort of us trying to co-parent, because everybody knows true co-parenting is getting a lot of likes on TikTok. So it's called making an effort, Andy.
Whenever they do that bullshit, like, we're so happy, it just reminds me of like their last season when they were doing that kind of like Captain and Tennille thing or whatever it was, where he had this little keyboard. He was like toting a keyboard around everywhere and he was just smiling like, we're happier than we've ever been. He's like, I'm so happy. He looked like, what was that name of that Muppet? Ralph, which is appropriate, actually. Like, he's like, I got my keyboard, and like, he just had that bullshit smile on his face. Like, I'm surprised he didn't take those stakes and start trying to play the piano on them. He's like, hey, I got a good chord on these stakes.
But the thing is, like, no one even knows whether these two are faking the happiness, because everybody also thinks that they're faking the drama. So it's like, are we faking being happy or faking being sad for the cameras? What is it? So we see the caption. She got upset with him because they made this happy video, and then he makes a caption that says, didn't wear the apron, but she got me daddy in the kitchen off camera. I love this cooking thing. Happy no drama Memorial Weekend, y'all. Be safe. # real life. # call me daddy in the kitchen. And she's like, so he took that moment. I'm like, that could have been positive, but he used it to make it appear to be something that it wasn't. It wasn't. I didn't call him daddy. I didn't.
And of course, Cynthia's like, I honestly thought it was cute to see you guys being together, happy, and not thinking like, they should get back together. But it's just like nice to see you guys having fun together. I was honestly just happy to see you guys doing something on a kitchen island. It just touches my heart. Thanks, Cynthia, for weighing in on that one.
And Angela's like, and living in a house with a man who can cook. Girl, get your food. Let's all stop cheering on going back to abusive stalker exes. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this cast sometimes? My God. Like, can we bring the bar up a little bit higher for the men? It's like, Ralph, what a great guy. He had a cooking video with you. Forgive him. Forget about the ring cams, the affairs, the disappearing to Florida, the ways crazy abusing, pulling you through all this divorce shit right now.
Yeah, they all start joking about how like, he's got the sausage and everything, and Portia's like, yeah, it's gonna be a long, hard divorce. You're gonna be dry. He's gonna come up that staircase after midnight. Cynthia's like, or she may go downstairs. They're like, they're all like laughing, and we're like, you guys remember that Ralph is terrible, right? He's a monster, and they're divorcing.
Gross. I don't like it.
And they're just like just joking. Maybe they all know it's fake though.
Cream from Cheese says, Drew, the judge has given you and Ralph the weirdest court orders, from having Ralph live in the basement to avoid telling the kids you're divorcing. What the hell is that about? Drew's like, well, I should have hired Precious. Okay, I can tell you that. Precious is the best attorney in Atlanta. That's what's happening.
And Portia's like, actually, it's normal because, by the way, when you sue for divorce, everything's going to stay. So I lived upstairs with my ex for months, but it's like, which is crazy. Is this like a normal thing in Georgia that like if you're divorced, you are like stuck in a house together? Like what sort of sitcom like premise judgment is this? They're like, you guys are divorced, but you must live together and your wacky neighbor is mandated to come over at least once per week and take stuff out of your refrigerator.
As a judge who knows the law, you will stay together and your new neighbor is a man with his shirt unbuttoned down to his belly button. His name is Larry. Okay. Good luck. Have a good time.
Your other nosy neighbor, her name, I don't know, we'll just say Mrs. Poole, will also be coming around to offer some warm advice, but also kind of get in the way.
So then Portia's like, yeah, well, that's normal. I lived upstairs for my ex, but you recently said he had a woman down there. And Kelly's like, with you there? And Drew's like, oh, yeah, I mean, when I'm there, when I'm not there, I mean, she's a girl and she's there. Portia's like, so wait, you seen someone on the camera in the basement, a woman? And she goes, okay, you can get the manifesto. And
because
Andy's like, yeah, it's in
which I think was actually, by the way, I think it's the manifest, not the manifesto.
I know. I was like, well, did she bomb something? Oh my God.
She's like, well, if you really want to know who it is, you can always look up some of Karl Marx's best manifestos and learn about.
She's like, Ralph is having sex with a terrorist in the basement.
You can get the manifesto, guys. Don't worry about it. So what she means is that you can see
Drew's new girlfriend is really against the pet insurance agent company. What am I trying to say? Industry. She's really against pet insurance abuse, and she's got a whole manifesto. So,
well, the way I found out her name is I looked up to see what the Unabomber had written about her, and I know it was a few hundred pages, but I finally saw the name Shirley, and I was like, aha. That's her.
Shirley. I would love if it was a girl named Shirley.
Shirley and Ralph. It probably is. So Drew is saying that, yeah, it's a gated community. So Portia's like,
So you saw the picture of the driver's license?
and she's like, I saw the name and I looked her up on Instagram. And when I went to lunch at Anaya's school, she was there. Everyone's like, oh. And I was like, is someone going to make a Fatal Attraction reference? Because as we all know from my childhood trauma, the Glenn Close goes to the school to pick up the child was shot in my elementary school, and I was not chosen to be an extra, and I needed this moment right now, and they didn't even mention it, so I was sad.
Can we ask questions like, why was the girlfriend at school at lunch? That's weird.
But then someone said it was it the teacher? Because Angela goes, it's the teacher? And so was it the teacher? Is it one of the teachers?
I don't know. We didn't find out. But she's.
I like that they're both stalking each other. They're equally stalking each other. Drew is going down to the gatehouse to be like, who came into this gate? Who came in at like 7:57 tonight? But then the lady is like going to the school to stalk that way, and they're both like circling each other, like, I'm gonna stalk you even more. I'm gonna stalk your child. I'm gonna stalk your nails.
I'm gonna find out everything there is to know about Drew by seeing what she puts in the kids' lunch. It's like Lunchable. What a lazy, lazy witch. I can steal you away easily, child. Welcome to the world of tuna sandwiches. Wait a minute. Aren't you the girl for the manifesto?
But what the question is this woman the teacher at the school? If it was the teacher at the school, because Angela asked, is it it's the teacher? And like, if it was the teacher, it's hilarious that Drew says, I went down to the school and there she was. It's like, yeah, because she was a teacher. She's a teacher. Like, make it sound like she's a stalker, stalking the child, but like she's actually at work. It's like Drew was actually the stalker at that point. And she's like, and she mean mugged me. And then she approached me and was like, what's your name, ma'am? And I said, I don't have to give you my name. And she says, you do, because we have to log everyone who comes in here. And I said, oh, so you have a manifesto at this school also? She said, actually, we don't like to have strangers around the children. Please tell me your name, ma'am. I said, you don't get to know my name because I am an actress. She said, seriously, we're going to call the police, ma'am. I said, you don't call the police on me because I played a police officer once many years ago in a pilot that never aired. So, and then I left.
I was just trying to bring back her math book that she forgot in class. I don't want to hear it. So Kelly's like, well, actually, I was really actually hoping that you and I could have a bit, we could have hit it off a little bit more. Wait, is this Angela? Who are they talking about now? Oh, no, Drew. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. From Sin Family Values says, why don't any of the women in the group show any compassion for Drew during her divorce? Did you not just see the cooking video? It's hard to have compassion about someone's divorce. And also, I do have compassion about her divorce. But I mean, but I can see how it would be hard for people when there's so many mixed signals. You know, I need better branding on this divorce. I can't have like Ralph is the worst stalker in the world and then have like, oh my God, now we're making waffles together. Isn't this fun, America? No, it's not. I need you to get rid of Ralph and cut the cord, please.
Yes. So Kelly's basically like, I was like really actually hoping that you and I could have like hit it off a little bit more. I mean, I think towards the end, it was just kind of like more of like a connection thing. You know, that's what I would have liked. And Angela's like making faces at Drew, like, oh God, this bitch, whatever. And Kelly's like, don't give me that face, because Drew's doing the face back. And basically Kelly's like, she's like, Angela, stay out of it. This is a divorced woman conversation.
And Angela's like, yeah, I don't want any parts. So Drew's like, well, I mean, it sounds good. And I appreciate you saying that today. But I feel like, you know, you didn't really give us a chance because you were just like throwing these things out and being loud and spicy. And I'm like, girl, you don't even know me. And then throwing out that liar narrative. And Kelly's like, I didn't even hear anything. And she goes, well, you said that I'm a liar, but, you know, you felt like it felt like you were trying for a moment. And I do think that Kelly obviously watched, you know, previous seasons and came in here ready to go for people that she was ready to go for, because everybody that Kelly came for in the beginning, it was like, what? You've been here 5 seconds. What do you like? Did that man steal someone's husband? And then all the Drew stuff. It's like, you just got here, ma'am. So Kelly's like, I wasn't trying for a moment. I never need to try for a moment, which is why I have my own videographer, an entire glam team on retainer, and a man named Paris with extremely high-waisted short shorts that used to follow me around.
When you came to my Balmain event and you were there, Balmain, I should say, Balmain event, and we were at the bag, you said you purchased something and you did not purchase anything. And Drew's like, I did. She's like, you did not. She goes, I have purchased multiple things. I mean, not at the event and not at Balmain and maybe not even this year, but I have purchased things in the past in my life. So please don't lie on me. So Kelly's like, you did not buy anything. So Drew says, no, I talked to the shopper and he found the size. So we were texting and he found the right size. And Kelly's like, okay, you did, but like you didn't, like you're supposed to buy it at the event. And Shamia says, you know, the things that you buy at the event go to, like, proceeds go to osteogenesis imperfecta. And Kelly's like, you know, yeah, you didn't buy anything there. And she's like, well, I mean, I purchased it at some point in time at a different place. And I showed you a receipt from something I had purchased. And, you know, we had a real conversation and we didn't go into the part about the foundation. And I could have made sure that it did, or I could have made a donation to your foundation if you had just told me, even though I was at a charity event for your foundation and knew that I hadn't actually supported your foundation at that moment in time, but I did buy myself something.
Well, it sounds like she's saying they didn't have my size, so I contacted the shopper and he said he'll get my size, and they got my size, and so I bought it. But then couldn't she say, okay, well, if they didn't credit that to your foundation, it should have been, because I technically ordered it that night. But, you know, then again, it's like I'm trying to read too much into something that Drew is saying, which is probably at best a half truth.
I think that normally I would be with you on this one. Normally I'd be like, yeah, she probably thought, oh, since I contacted the buyer, it sort of counted under the umbrella of the whole event. But it's Drew, and Drew is like, she's kind of like a crook, and she's so slippery with her words. She's like, no, I bought it. I'm like, yeah, but did you donate, or did you make sure those funds were being donated? I don't think so.
Yeah, I like Shamia. And, you know, the proceeds were supposed to go to osteogenesis imperfecta. So they didn't.
Yeah.
It's just like that. I just like hearing that used in a housewives fight. The proceeds were supposed to go to osteogenesis imperfecta. So.
All right. More importantly, Drew, are you or are you not Michael Jordan's cousin? And Drew's like, well, in my head, absolutely. I mean, it was a joke. She keeps saying it's like a joke. I wish they had rolled back the clip, because when she said it absolutely seriously And she was full on lying and did not think she's going to get caught out on it. She was not joking whatsoever.
And she's like, guys, my name is Drew Jordan. It was a joke. And they're like, yeah, that wasn't a joke. So, Dick from Copper says, Shamil, why was it okay for you to twist Drew's words regarding Pilar, but Angela was held to a higher standard when she relayed her conversation with Shamia back to Portia?
I was like, mentally, I was like, what were these things again? And they showed like a clip.
This is too much for me. Okay.
And
so, yeah.
Portia basically is like, yeah, it was cringy because like Portia says when I watched it, it didn't piss me off. But the way that Shamia brought the information to me, which of course in this case, it was Drew saying that like, you know, this money could help Pilar go to college. And Shamia brought it to Portia saying like, Drew says that she's paying for Pilar's tuition, which is not what Drew said at all. This one, I'm firmly not on Shamia's side about this. And, you know, Shamia's still standing in her truth about this. She's still like, being like, no, that's what happened. You meant it to be shady and you said it shady. It's like, listen, I'm going to come down on Drew really whenever I can because she's hilarious with how much she lies and is self-serving. But in this case, Drew did not say it in a shady way. She said it in a nice way.
Well, she was being shady, but it wasn't anything that I would have been pissed about. I mean, it was like typical housewife shade. They're like, well, you know, she doesn't like you working with her. And she's like, well, she may not like it, but all the sales from this album could pay for Pilar's college because it's going to be so successful. You know, of course, it's like a little shade, but I don't think it's like Portia's destitute and she'll never be able to pay for Pilar's college without my album, you know?
Yeah, Shamia brought, like, unless there was stuff we didn't see, but Shamia definitely brought that information to Portia in a much more incendiary way.
Congratulations, you've reached the end of part 1 of a 2-part recap. For part 2, go look for the recap that says part 2. See you over there, suckers.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
It's always a party on Allison Block.
Our way is the Amber way.
It's the Foster and the Furious. It's Amanda Foster.
She can run my country. It's Angie McGovern.
It's always automatic with Ashley Auto. Put your hands together for Carly Clapp.
Get on the right foot with Chrissy Offit.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela Etchels.
We never miss her call. It's Diane Call.
Aaron McNicholas. She don't miss no trickolas.
Hava Nagila Weber.
You'll never hide from Heidi Eleanor Jones.
I go, you go, we all go for Hugo.
Jamie. She has no last namey.
She's our kind of mess. It's Jennifer Messer.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Get a bee in your bonnet with Lacey B.
Que sera, whatever will be, will Lauren Silsby.
Bringing the funk, it's Leslie Plunkett.
She gets an A from us, it's Lindsay D.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. Fresh as a daisy, it's Maisie McHenry.
We love her on the rocks, it's Melissa Cox.
Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
This is Livin' with Michelle Vivian.
I love ya, Olivia Williamson. Tastier than Flanderson, it's Rachel Manderson.
She sure is swell. It's Raquel.
Yes, we canna, it's Savannah.
Cast a spell with Shannon Spellman.
Let's share with Sharon Eldridge.
Darn Skippy, it's Tippy.
The Bay Area Betches. Betches.
And our super premium sponsors. She's VVIP, it's Amanda V. Can't lose when you're with Amy Baldwin.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides. Let's go into the woods with Guy Tubbs.
It's our queen, it's Queen Laifah.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. Hail the Cork Master, the Master of the Cork, Jennifer Corcoran. We got our wish, it's Jen Plish.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
Knock, knock, knocking on Katie Manock's door. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley. In the study with a candlestick, it's Leslie Peacock. We're ride or die for Lisa Ryder Barron. She's a whiz, it's Liz Sarthy. Always killing it, it's Lola Alkalani.
The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
She eases our woes, it's Melissa St. Rose.
There's a chance of meatballs, it's Rebecca Cloud.
She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke.
We cannot tell a lie, it's Sarah Tell of Sun.
Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony.
Please don't stop, it's Soli and Pop.
Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
It's always a good time when you're wasting time with Bravo.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.